The Sonic movie universe is getting exciting. Hey, what's up everyone, it's me, SpeedSuperSonic, guys, another video, and yes, you heard me right, we are talking about more Sonic movie universe news. And not just any kind of news, we got more leaks, baby, that's right. We've heard numerous different reports coming out of different insider camps about multiple different Sonic projects. The last news piece you probably heard from me was talking about DanielRPK's report about a new Sonic animated series being in the works, or other things in relation to Sonic Movie 3's trailer release, or some stuff that might be happening with the movie in terms of its marketing, but not really too much in regards to where the franchise as the movie franchise is moving forward. I think the last thing we heard is that Paramount does have plans for Chaotix in the future, introducing them and then giving them their own spin-off, which would be super cool. And we've just kind of been waiting to hear what immediate plans might be after Sonic Movie 3, because we're kind of left in the dark at what exactly is going to happen. All we know is that Paramount does plan on continuing this franchise beyond this third film, and we'll see what that holds. But thanks to that aforementioned leaker who's been giving us a bunch of Sonic news, from animated series to video games to the movie universe itself, DanielRPK has dropped another news scoop, and this might be his juiciest one yet. So any further ado, let's not waste any more time and jump into exactly what he has to say, which he posted on his Patreon. If Sonic 3 is a hit, then the Shadow spinoff will be a movie. Paramount, I hear, also have big plans for Silver. Obviously he means plans, but we're gonna forgive him. It'd be really funny though if he meant literal, like that's the only way we'll see Silver, is just like his face plastered on the side of like a plane. Actually, that wouldn't be cool. I think people would be very upset by that, but those two are very, very significant. There's a lot to take out of that. So first, let's dive into the first thing he said, which was about Shadow. So assuming that Sonic 3 is going to be a hit, which I know we all hope it is, we'll talk a little bit more about the hit potential of Sonic 3 after this, but we knew for a while that Paramount was developing a Shadow project. DanielRPK isn't the only person who has come out with this report or said that there are plans for a Shadow project, but I also think that's one of the easiest like spin-off projects to guess. You've already done Knuckles, so there very well could be a Shadow show. I mean, Shadow just got his own game, there's a large presence, he's the face of the marketing of Sonic Movie 3. We've seen some standees pop up at movie theaters. Shadow is right front and center in that. They're not even putting Sonic at the front of it because Shadow is the draw. They're very clearly able to market Shadow. So this is actually tying into something I said. I said that if Sonic Movie 3 is a hit, if you guys watch this channel, I believe that Paramount might have the confidence to go forward and make a whole movie centered around Shadow and do a whole Shadow film starring Keanu Reeves because of what I just said. Shadow has that marketing potential. He's a star in his own right. After the success of stuff like Sonic X Shadow Generations, scoring 9s and selling millions of copies off rip, there's a very strong potential that after this year, Shadow is now the co-star of this franchise. Obviously, Sonic will always be the face of it, but this year of Shadow experiment has proven to be incredibly successful. And then obviously the big conclusion of this is Sonic Movie 3, where Shadow is, once again, the face of it. So, if this is a success, that is 100% viable for them to do a Shadow spin-off movie. The biggest question goes to, is it going to be a hit? Is it going to be a success? I believe so. It still eats at me at night thinking about Mufasa the Lion King releasing the same day as it. I've made multiple videos where I've talked about this. I have a whole video dedicated to the box office battle between Sonic and Mufasa. I still hold very firm that I think Mufasa at the end of the day will make more money. If these release on the same day, Sonic will do good, Sonic will bring in money. I don't think he will have a day really or a weekend where he'll win the box office or surpass Mufasa. You never know what can happen. Crazier things have happened in this world, but Mufasa, Disney, Lion King, all of this is just so big. I don't see Sonic being able to trump it, but the hope is that regardless of it releasing the same day as Mufasa, it doesn't do bad, it doesn't flop as a result of that. I think Sonic does have a market on his own. Sonic will be able to have a lot of marketing, have a lot of push behind it. They're already started on press, which we've seen. They're gonna get that rolling soon. I feel like another trailer is right around the corner. I've noticed that Sonic Movie 3 merchandise has been a lot more prevalent in stores than Mufasa merchandise. In fact, I don't really think I've seen much at all. That just might be my Sonic coded brain being able to pick out the Sonic everywhere. Or maybe Disney's push hasn't even really begun yet. Regardless though, it's all hinges on Sonic 3 being a hit. I, at the end of the day, predict Sonic Movie 3 will make more money at the box office than Sonic Movie 2. The franchise has grown a lot since then. There's a lot of hype behind there. Yeah, the Knuckles show, which did really good on Paramount. Hopefully, this has all been a perfect storm with the game success, with the movie success, with the show's success, all of that, to where Sonic Movie 3 will just benefit from that at the end of this year. Next month, which is kind of crazy to say. I think them doing a Shadow movie is the best move. The Knuckles show I did greatly enjoy if you guys watch this channel, which if you don't, You should. You know I loved the Knuckles show. I was a big fan of it. But the Knuckles show did suffer with some problems in terms of its pacing department simply because of the type of show that it is. It's a limited series show, meaning that it's essentially one big movie spaced out across like what, 6 episodes? And if that was all like condensed down very like tightly into a movie, it probably would have turned out 10 times better. And when the idea of a Shadow spinoff comes to the head, you're like, okay, this could be one of two things. It could either be a movie or it could be a show. When it comes to a show, you have to have that padding. Shadow's a CGI character, and you need people to like work off of. You definitely can't go the comedy route with Shadow. It's not the same as Knuckles. You have to do something a little bit bigger, a little bit grander, and that would probably require a larger budget. So turning to a movie which is going to be around a little under 2 hours long, if we're basing this off of Sonic movie runtimes, that would just give you a lot more leeway to tell a more dense story with all Shadow, no real fluff, being able to tell the exact story that you want to tell with that character, and probably taking it a little more seriously. Another big thing is, like we said, Keanu Reeves is playing Shadow. He's the voice of that character. Keanu Reeves is a massive star, and he will be able to sell a movie on his own. I'm sure they'll cast some other characters in there with some big actors to go alongside him as well, whether it's a human character or you bring in a character like Rouge or somebody like that. You'll definitely be able to star power it up to where you'll be able to get people to get in the theaters for that reason alone. You're basically making John Wick for kids, but instead of it being Keanu Reeves himself, Keanu Reeves voices a black hedgehog. It just works, and I would love to see that, and I really hope that that is true what DanielRPK is saying, as that's something I've speculated about, have been really hoping for, of them doing a Shadow movie if Sonic Movie 3 is a big success, which I hope and will predict it will be. But that leads us into the second thing he said, and that is that Paramount has big plans for Silver. Now, so far, DanielRPK has said that these following characters have big plans at Paramount. Amy, for movie 4 in particular, he said that the Chaotix are going to be introduced at some point and given a spin-off series, and he also said that now, yes, Silver has plans at Paramount. Let me know if I'm missing any characters and other reports he said, but for right now I think those are all the characters that he's mentioned that Paramount has big plans for. Amy, I for sure seeing popping up in movie 4. This is something that fans have been clamoring for a long time. Whether or not she has all that story potential, I think you can very much so give her the Tails role that he had in movie 2 and make somebody like Silver the Knuckles of that story, the big bad or the main threat of the movie. If anything, I think Silver makes the most sense to go into with a character in Sonic Movie 4, whatever the follow-up to 3 is going to be. But with Silver being a badass hedgehog character like Sonic and Shadow, with the story potential he has with him coming from the future and his kind of like Terminator-esque storyline, there's just so much you could do there, and I think that'd be a great place to go with 4. So I think there's a world where you can do Amy and you can do Silver. There's also a world where they continue to just forget about Amy and not put her in the movies and just go right all into Silver, but I don't see that happening. I think there would actually be like pushback, like, okay, we're 4 movies in and there's still no Amy. There's something going on here. You might see some riots go on at Paramount offices, I'm just saying. But I really hope they do Silver, because Silver is just a character that never got his fair shake. He had a very big role in Sonic 06, which is what his introduction was, and that didn't go over particularly well with the reception of Sonic 06. And then he had a few co-star roles or like little side characters in other games like the Rivals games, and obviously he popped up in stuff like sports titles or in Sonic Generations or in other things, but he hasn't had a large story presence. He pops up in the comics and other stuff like that, but you haven't seen Silver in a TV show. You don't really get too much Silver merchandise. Silver's a very cool character who I think Sega in the mid-2000s had big plans for, but ultimately with like the sour taste that character left in a lot of people's mouths, they haven't been able to do too much with it. I genuinely think one of the reasons Silver is still around in the capacity he is because of how cool his character design is and how there is still a cult following for that character. I honestly think Silver might deserve his own year at this point while not carrying the same gravitas as a character like Shadow. If you do what you've done with Shadow this year with Silver, there's a lot of potential for there to be this resurgence in this character, for him to become just as big as other characters like Shadow and Knuckles. I truly hope all parties give Silver that fair shake and that this report of Paramount having plans for Silver is true, because I really think Silver deserves it, and I hope, you know, Sega will assist Paramount in that dream of giving Silver his own big movie role. So we'll see what happens there. But there wasn't a lot to go over in this video today. I really just had those 2 topics in particular to go over, but both were incredibly interesting and I really wanted to talk about. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to you and ask about what you guys want to see from a Shadow the Hedgehog spinoff. Do you want it to be a TV show, or do you hope it's a movie? And do you want to see Silver in Sonic Movie 4? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'd love to know what you guys have to say. Feel free to follow my social social media links to my Twitter and Instagram in the description below. You can follow this behind the scenes of my life, feature content, and all things Sonic the Hedgehog. But most importantly, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. This is the number one destination in YouTube for all things Sonic, whether it's video games, TV shows, movies, comics, merchandise, and more. We talk about it all. If you're looking for a way to support the channel, become a channel member and join our Patreon for behind the scenes and early look at videos. But with that said, I love you guys so much. I have a bunch of more videos planned about Sonic Movie 3 and all the stuff that's coming out in regards to that. There's a bunch of other Sonic projects that are right around the corner. I think 2025 has a lot more up its sleeve than we've been led on to in that Sonic Central. So to stay tuned for all of that, more original content and more, stay tuned to the channel. I love you all so much. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
And be right by the motherfucking seaside, dog. Everything I see, I got a dream. I thought these leaves would go and take me out the dark. I know everything I wanted to find away.